So here I am in my art studio with a bunch of gear and artwork around, and my kids have a bunch of gear and their artwork around too. And one of the things that I keep with me here is a list of the artistic behaviors. So if we were in the classroom, I would be going over on day one the rules, which are to treat people kindly, treat stuff kindly and with respect, and to behave like an artist. So I've got this list of artistic behaviors right here, which are also called studio habits of mind. And number one is develop craft, developing your art making skills. Learning new skills, you can do this. This is what I'm talking about. And building on skills you already have, you can do this at any time. Number two, observing. Looking closely, noticing interesting things. And that'll be observational drawing. And it will also be observing and looking carefully at artwork and learning from notable artists. The ones highlighted in yellow, like number three, envision, are to picture in your head some ideas for your work or using a source to inspire you. Envision is also about planning your work. Number 3 and 4, 6, 7, and 8 are the ones that I think are going to be the studio habits or the artistic behaviors that are most important when you are making your work remotely, okay? And we're not meeting in person. Reflect is also important. You use all these behaviors in every piece. Number 4 is engage and persist. I solve problems. So, how did you respond to challenges or things that were unexpected that occurred as you worked? Notice that's a behavior skill right here. So, being persistent means sticking with someone, sticking with something and solving problems and challenges as they arise. And I just have to tell you that problems always arise. Drips happen. I do a lot of work with my younger kids, my daughter Harper, at how to handle things like a black drip when it occurs and what can we do to not quit and maybe turn it into something else. She gets very upset, and that's a skill that she's really working on, persisting instead of quitting and walking away. And the good news is every time that you stick with something, your brain grows and learns that you can stick with it. Every time you quit, you sort of strengthen that quitting muscle in your brain. So it's a really, really good behavior to practice and will help you in whatever you're trying to persist at, whether it's exercise or other classes. Number 5 is reflect, and that would be getting feedback, giving feedback, making changes along the way. Writing artist statements is going to be super important in a virtual environment because what you write about your artwork tells me what you were thinking about. And for those of you who are maybe panicking a little bit and thinking, oh, writing is hard for me, writing is challenging for me. Well, the platform we use, Artsonia, to share work, you can write it, or you can have the option of flipping a video just like I'm doing right now. Flip a little video talking about your artwork and share it back to me. And that's totally fine too if writing is going to be something that is not your best way to explain what you're doing. That brings me to number 6, stretch and explore, experiment. That's I take risks, trying new things. Oh my gosh, did we do a lot of experimenting last spring, trying a new art material or a new technique that was new over something that's familiar, and how does that affect your work? So experimenting and taking risks is such a great thing, and it's different way of working maybe than completing work, bringing work to completion. Sometimes you're just working to try new things and explore, and that's an important part of what artists do as well. All right, number 7, express. Communicating and expressing yourself and ideas through your work. Super important. Being able to talk about what the artwork is about, what issues or ideas are you examining through your artwork, how is this important to you personally. And that's what I care most about, is you making work that's important to you personally. I don't want to do a lot of telling you what to make. I want to help to pull out of you what's important about you and make this really personal and enjoyable for you in the process. Making connections, that's collaborating with other artists and building on other artists through art history, and getting inspired by other artists. Making connections through history. So you'll notice that there are many things happening in COVID right now that will help to express what's happening in the world. We're actually living through history at this very moment, and people are using art in many different ways that will express what is happening in the pandemic, what's happening in their communities, and the changes that are occurring. So we'll definitely be doing that too. Now, the final one, maintain. This is really interesting because in the art studio, we would be doing a lot of sharing of materials if we were in person in the art studio at Rams, but that's not going to be happening this year. You're going to be maintaining your own supplies. So in a way, it's up to you to keep your art materials, but it also has to do with photographing, maintaining your portfolio, and maintaining your Google Classroom. So being a good digital citizen, it shows me that you are working through the class, and that you're organized and you know what we're talking about. If you have a assignment, mark it as done. Check it off when you've read it. Let me know that you shouldn't have a whole bunch of stuff that's never been touched in Google Classroom. And in Artsonia, if I send work back to you, you should also be maintaining your digital portfolio. So that's going to be a part of the maintenance of your online work this year. And those are the artistic behaviors.